Hello and welcome to something a little bit different on the channel today. My name's Daniel and today we're going to be playing the Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 demo. So I'm playing this demo trying to decide whether I want to buy the game myself. To give you a bit of background, I normally get Pro Evolution Soccer every couple of years. I prefer a gameplay from it generally as a purist, but unfortunately the licenses and things like that just are too much and the online play is not particularly intuitive. I get its main rival FIFA every year, mainly for the online service and for the career mode. The fact as a lower league fan I can play as Luton Town, which I don't have the privilege of on here normally. Not only do they not have that league, but if they did they'd probably be called like Bedfordshire Oranges or something like that, which is a little bit of an off-putting thing unfortunately. So let's have a look at the options we got here. We're not going to play a quick online match. We're not going to play the kart one, we're just going to do a bog standard exhibition match. The one comment I make so far is the menus are always a bit clunky on this, it took a long time to get here. I've gone for the alternative controllers as I've been playing FIFA last season unfortunately. You can see on the demo they always obviously show off the teams that they've got the licenses for, so there's a few from South America, a couple of international teams. We're going to play as the only English team on here, Liverpool, and we'll play against the big boys, Barcelona. We can see how realistic Messi looks then. You can see the match time's 5 minutes because it's just the demo version, so it won't be a particularly long gameplay. We also got an update to say that the team rosters or transfers haven't been updated since May 2018, so we won't have any of the summer signings on here. Let's go and look at the game plan. Let's see if the tactics screen's changed at all. The last one of this I had was 17, and to be honest it doesn't look any different at all starting here. So let's just go and put players in based on the highest rating, just so we've got a few changes to make to see if it's any different and it's easy to navigate. It looks exactly the same, to be honest. It's not the most important part, it's the gameplay that matters. I don't like the screen on here as much as a FIFA or even a Football Manager or something like that, but it's perfectly manageable and we can make the changes we want to without any fuss, so we're happy with that. Let's go to the general settings. You can see I've changed it up from regular to professional. We don't want to go too high because I'm going to be useless at this having not played it for a year. And we're not going to change anything else. We could take injuries off, but that wouldn't be any fun. So let's get straight into it. It's the two biggest teams on the demo, I would say. Obviously AC Milan are quite a big club historically, but they've struggled in recent times. I'm expecting the only two stadiums on here with a new camp and I think Schalke's ground if I'm not wrong. So as a result there's going to be a big pre-match razzmatazz. They're going to build it up and show off their new camp status, which they did 2 years ago in the demo if I remember rightly, or last year. I'm not sure which one it was. But here we go, we're getting the big build up for Liverpool Barcelona. The one thing I have seen is that there's no commentary on the demo. I don't know if that's the case for the full game as well. But nevertheless, let's get into it. We can see they're in the tunnel. The pre-match razzmatazz is there as we expected. They're coming out onto the pitch, walking out. That's all the same. It looks fairly similar, to be honest. I've got to say the graphics do look very good. We're playing the Xbox One version here, but obviously it's very similar for the PS4. Plenty of Liverpool fans in that away end, which is a bit unusual. Let's just go through a bit of this to see what it looks like. I'm interested to see what the team lineups look like when they come on the screen and things like that. Oh, there we go, that's quite nice. Quite like that, having the pictures as well. But obviously for most clubs they're not going to have the rights, so I'm not quite sure how that'll work then. It'll just be a number and a name and a blob presumably. But oh well, let's get into it. We've seen the bits we wanted to see now. Some nice panoramic views of the ground, but not particularly exciting for the gameplay or the purist of the game. Let's get going then, let's see how it looks. The pitch looks lovely. I've always liked that the gameplay on Pro Evolution's a bit slower. As I said, it's the gameplay I generally prefer, but FIFA's so widely played online and has so many more options, and the fact that I can play as my preferred club is always the option there that makes me want to play that game instead. But let's get the early possession, let's see how we go. Barcelona aren't particularly pressing, which is a bit surprising, but let's see if we can do a bit of skill. We can't, we challenge straight away. I'm not particularly a skill man, I'm more a pass, cross and shoot man. Traditionalist of the game, I don't want all these fancy flicks. We won't be playing as a team with Neymar at any point, let's put that in there. Firmino gets it wide to Robertson. Can we get an early cross in and see what the aerial duels are like? We can. Salah's lost out. You'd expect that though. It's fallen to Klein at the edge and we tried to be a bit too clever there. Here is Salah. Can he do a bit of skill? Oh, he's gone round him lovely there. Firmino with the early shot, and that's a good save. The goalkeeper's reflexes are great, but they always look a bit too dramatic for my liking. I can see, I don't know if they had it last year, but 2 years ago they definitely didn't have the quick sub down in the corner. I don't know if that came after FIFA or at the same time, so I won't judge them on that, but it's nice to see that it's there. Let's just float a standard cross into the box and see what we can do with it. We've won the header. Why is he punching that? I mean, that's straight at him, and the second header's gone wide. I'm a bit worried about the goalkeeper's animations a bit early on, to be honest. If we have a look at this one again, It was just a simple header straight at the keeper, and he's just punched it up in the air, which I know tends to be a bit of a trait for modern keepers, but I don't think ter Stegen does that normally. Not when I've seen him in the Champions League and things like that anyway. But early on, it's a good start. The game plays really crisp on the floor, the passing, the moving, and I've got to say with Liverpool, the pressing as well, which is something you don't always have in FIFA. It always drives me nuts off the ball, trying to switch to the right player to move because they won't do it themselves. But on here, that's the bit that seems to be the biggest improvement to me. Off the ball, they just seem to be making the moves perfectly to press Barcelona on the rare occasions they've had it. And to be fair, the Barcelona players are keeping a very good shape and chasing down well as well. So I have to say I'm quite impressed with that. The aerial duels have looked a bit unrealistic to me, but we'll try and get another cross in the box in a minute to judge that. We're not too worried about winning this game, we just want to see as many aspects of the game as possible. So we'll float another cross in here. We've lost the header again, that one looks a bit better to be honest. I was a bit worried, it's something I always found on this game, even the one 2 years ago. I had 15 as well and that was the same. Let's try and get a cross in again quickly, we'll come back to that point. We've gone low this time. That's the bit I always had in the two games that I had before, 15 and 17. Whether you put in a high cross or a low cross, it was always too easy to win it as an attacker. And whether you were playing a world-class superstar, and even for the opposition as well, both for you and them, it just seemed the attackers won too many as a percentage. And you just had no chance as a defender, as we've overhit a corner hugely there. That's one other bit I have to say I prefer in this game, is that the chance you can make a mistake. Obviously players aren't perfect, you see balls put out of play all the time. You see corners hitting first man or over everyone quite often, and it does replicate itself in this game. You can't just pass it perfectly. I always prefer that the build-up's slower, the fact that you can't just run at people. You pick your quickest man on FIFA and you run, which is particularly exciting for an arcade and makes for end-to-end online games. But if you're really a football fan, it tends to be that you buy this game, as is often publicised. But let's get the ball wide and try and get a cross in again with Mane. We're going to go higher this time to Firmino, but he's lost out again. Looks like low crosses is our route for this game. We're going to cut it back and try and play again, but it's half time, it's 0-0. Overall, I'm fairly impressed. The only thing I would say is, considering I didn't have last year's and I've only had it 2 years ago, it's not the hugest step up and it doesn't look particularly different. I mean, the menus in particular for the changes and subs and things like that look exactly the same. They seem to work exactly the same and the tactical options seem similar. I can see the little bits at the bottom that keep popping up, like the Geigen press and all of that. But is that really enough of a change over a 2 year period? As Barcelona are keeping possession now, this is the bit we like to see. Can we press? They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking. If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona, I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that. How they can get away with that is unbelievable. And I know that they're in a rush getting it out in August to beat FIFA, but look at this. He's passed it to the centre midfielder Busquets, and look at this ball back. Absolutely nothing in it. He could have slid and just cleared the ball. I don't know what's going on there. And that's really put a downer on this for me, to be honest. We'll see if things improve, but that's got to be a major concern with the game a few days away. You don't see that very often. You can see back passes that go in and are overhit and misplaced and things like that, but that wasn't. It was just tapped back very slowly, and the keeper didn't make any motion to chase it down. We've got him behind with Salah again. Can we make it work? We'll try and cut back and get the cross in on his left. Or we'll just go for the shot instead, but we've hit it wide. A powerful shot. I don't know what to say now. I'm really a bit negative after that own goal. I wasn't expecting something that bad to pop up, to be honest. Combined with the aerial duels, the fact that the menus haven't improved in that, I'm going to be honest, I'll probably skip this year as well now and leave it 3 years. I know you want to get it out before FIFA, but can you leave it this long, really? It's a shame because I really like this game as a purist. We've got him behind again. Let's see if we can finish. Salah's in behind. It's a good save by the keeper this time. And it's fallen back to Mane. He's going to get the cross in again to Salah. And the keeper's made a good save this time and held it remarkably, despite the fact those are the sort of ones you probably wouldn't hold normally. But nevertheless, it's still 1-0. I'm a little bit concerned, to be honest. I was really looking forward to playing this. I was hoping it would be my year. I normally get it every 2. But I just don't see how I can with the gameplay at the state it is. It doesn't look finished, to be completely honest. And it's a real shame because I have always preferred this game back in the day. Pro Evolution Soccer 2 on the PS2, I think it was probably, it might have even been PS1 actually, was probably the best football game, probably the most played football game I've had in my whole life, definitely the best in terms of at its time. But unfortunately it just looks like FIFA's by far the more polished game. So we'll get the ball down the right again. Let's see if we can get a cross in. If we can do anything remarkable in the last 10 minutes to change our mind. The one other positive I would give for this game is you do see far more of the natural breaks in play. So when the ball falls out to the edge of the box or peak of there, you see just a big hoof clearance, whether it's out for a throw-in, whether it's out for a corner. They don't mind doing it. But they've got in behind here, and that's a lovely passing combination, to be fair. But we've won it back too easily. They wouldn't normally give the ball away like that. It does look a bit strange. And I know it's not on the hardest game mode, but professional, you'd expect a bit more than this, surely. It's really a bit slow, but the pressing's really good. Off the ball, we have to be positive about it. It's been a really good game. We see them clearing it out for throw-ins more. But, oh, late tackle there. Can we get in behind now with Firmino, but he's going to be outpaced. They're going back to the keeper again, and this time he has managed to control it, which is a benefit. But we've finished the game at 1-0. Overall, there are so many good parts of the gameplay. The off-the-ball pressing, the natural breaks in play where players aren't afraid to put it out. The crisp passing on the floor is lovely at times, and the fact that the build-up's slower for the purist rather than just being an arcade-style game. But we can't get over that own goal. I don't know if that's just a one-off, but it's really put me off, to be completely honest with you. The header as well. The aerial duels don't look particularly good. It's still too easy to win them as an attacker, particularly the low ones. But that will be all from this one. I'm not going to make anyone else's judgment. All I can say is I probably won't get the game based on this. I will probably stick with FIFA for this year. The licences is obviously the big thing. In the demo you only see the licensed teams. But it does get a bit frustrating playing as Manchester Blues and Yorkshire Whites and Hounslow and things like that. So it's not for me, this one, but it is still a very good game. It's got its few flaws, and I'm sure given a month or two after release it might be worth readdressing and coming back to again. But for now, that's all for this one. Thanks for giving this slightly different episode a try. If you have enjoyed it, please chuck a thumbs up on there. Let me know in the comments, will you be buying the game based on the gameplay? Subscribe to the channel for regular content from Football Manager, as my name gives away. It's primarily a Football Manager channel, so stick around for 6 videos a week from there, as well as a Friday video from other Xbox sports games such as this one here. But a massive thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.